my name's Tommy. This is my channel. I usually focus on quilting, my studio, life in general. So I know you're a first timer because this is my first video. So today I'm gonna show you this wonderful bonanza I got of free fabric. So I'll talk about it as I'm going through it, but yeah, stick around. I've got about 15-20 pounds of scraps to go through, sort out. It should be fun. Okay, so I'm all set up. I thought of a lot of different ways to categorize these things. I was gonna have bins, and then I was like, I don't have enough bins for all the colors, and then I was like, oh, I'll use paper bags. And then I'm like, that'll sound terrible. So thank me now. So I'm just gonna make little piles. So I've spread out this old tablecloth, and I'm just gonna make piles by color. I noticed that there's like a lot of red and white, so I'll probably have a separate pile for red and white. So we're just gonna go. It's all small, so there's not, there's not a lot of detail to it. Okay, so, and some of the things I noticed too, like I've got this. This is actually a handmade like gift wrap bag for Christmas. So I'll have a Christmas pile too, probably right there because it's close. So yeah, most of the pieces are small, like a fat eighth. I don't think anything's as big as a fat quarter. So a fat quarter in quilting, in the quilting world, a fat quarter is about 18 by 22, because you cut off a half yard and then you cut it across this way, and the fabric's 44 inches wide, selvage to selvage. So you get a fat quarter instead of a quarter of a yard from a strip is like 8 inches, right? That's not that usable. So in here too, there's a lot of novelty, like little printy things, some of which I'll not keep. That's not really my thing, and I have a great place to donate things to. I volunteer. It's called the Community Quilting Center, and it's located in the Reuse Center building in Lansing, New York. And so it's like basically a craft thrift store, if you will. So that's my blueprints pile there. This is going to be a novelty print pile. Lots of people like to work with that. For myself, I do a lot with English paper piecing, which I'll have a separate video on that eventually for sure. But that's usually little pieces. So like I've got this piece here, it's about 2 by 4. I can get a couple hexagons out of that. So I'm gonna have a separate pile for that kind of thing that's not based on color. And then, this is like what, 1 inch by 2? I will probably trash that. Okay, so my hexi pile will be, I'll put that up here as well. Hexis. This is another bag. So how I came by this fabric, my husband works as a maintenance person, and a lot of the, in an apartment complex, a lot of the residents are older. And this woman that I've met her, because when I gone to pick Joe up or take him his lunch or something, and she's pretty cool. But she's downsizing, and she knew that I quilted, so I got this treasure trove. A lot of it's pretty old fabric. I'd say most of it is cotton, some of it not. Now see, from washing it, I've got all these little strings and things. I'm not going to cut all that off today. I'm just going to make piles, and then as I decide to use the fabric, I'll probably be ironing it, trimming it, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, the washing machine really did tangle all this up. Yeah, so something that size, what is that, 5 by 8. I'm gonna just make hexis out of that, hexagons. So I'll just make a pile. That'll make things go a little bit smoother. If I can unknot all this stuff. You ever done that? You just go in the washing machine and it's gone full kung fu on itself. Flannel, little scraps. So most of this fabric, I think to most modern quilters who take part in the quilting economy, you know, they might not appreciate getting basically somebody else's junk, right? I love it. It's a challenge. And the quilts that I'm really interested in making are, so like what, green or yellow? I'd say yellow. So the quilts that I make, that I'm going to make, are more like wall hanging art quilts. Not small, but not your traditional, you know, bed quilts, which I make those too. But as far as like fabric choices go, when I'm doing an art quilt, it's almost worse to have really nice yardage, right? That I've spent $12 a yard on, is precious. That actually becomes a hindrance because to creativity, because then I hesitate. Hi, Sadie. Hi. Am I talking to myself? Yes. So, you know, because you hesitate to like chop into something like that, or unless you've got a lot of money to spend, but these days who has that, right? So green right there. So to have fabric that has, you know, no obvious value, right? Economic value, then you can do whatever you want with it. Even if I had bought this, even if I had paid like $1 a pound, it would still not get in the way of that being creative. There's that. And, you know, when you don't pick things yourself, right? Like every single little piece isn't a brainchild per se, then that also opens up creative. Ooh, that's a big piece. I didn't notice that putting it in. Lots of light blue. So, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. So, like, would I choose to buy red roses? Probably not. I mean, when I was young, I certainly would have. But, all right, so this is going to be red and white. Red and white. Red and white over there. So when you have that, and that's what you have on your palette, you know, because when you're making an art quilt, you're thinking about colors and forms and movement, just like you would with any regular piece of art, whether it's a painting or a sculpture, a photograph, you know, for something to work, it has to have all those elements. And if you have like a precious attitude towards your materials, like that's all that strings. When something is precious, it can really hinder. It can really hinder how you use it and what you do. So, you know, if you're an artist and you're stuck, I think the best thing to do is to go way outside what you normally would use, where, like, get outside your comfort zone, basically. You know, if you're comfortable using a certain material in a certain space, change up your space, change up your material. So let's see, like this is what a quilter would call low volume, right? It's a light, in this case it's white background with a very pale print, very scattered print. So that's used sort of as background fabric or filler in a quilt. I'll have a pile for that way over there because I don't think there's very much of that in here. There is a lot of red. So red can go there. Yeah, this is going to quickly get away from me if I make too many piles, if I separate it too much. So yeah, just to open up creativity. It's good to do this once in a while. And if you're a quilter and you save your own scraps, but you just don't know what to do with them, try this. Just dump them all on the floor, mix them all up, right? And see what happens. It might take a couple days of just like looking at the pile. And, oh, now we've got another doggy. Hi, June. Looking at the pile and thinking, you know, what am I doing with this? You know, this is, you'll think you're crazy. And then in the middle of the night, you'll have an idea. And you'll come into your sewing room or your studio. I call it my studio because I am an artist first, I think, and a quilter second. I can go into my story some other time, but yeah, fine art was my first landing zone. What are you doggies doing? I bet that now that I'm doing well with the recording, that I'm not having to retake every second shot, that the doggies need to go outside. So I will be right back. I'm back. Dogs are taken care of. All right. I have no idea what I was talking about, so I'll just skip ahead. So yeah, there's a lot to be said for deliberately putting randomness into routines. I know that when I was an art student so many years ago, that was something that I resisted very, very strongly for a very long time. I thought mastery was being in control, right? Mastery is control. I don't think that anymore. I think mastery comes at a point when you recognize that division, not division. I don't know, I'm trying, it's a hard concept. Like, I suppose it sounds cheesy when you say it, but it's like you get into this Zen thing with your materials, right? And your materials are just as responsible as you are for the outcome. As far as like listening, you know, you have to listen to yourself, you have to listen to your materials, you have to be true to yourself, you have to be true to your materials. But that doesn't mean being rigid with your materials or with yourself. You can change. Your materials change. Probably the best bit of advice I got, it was as I was leaving graduate school. It was like I was leaving the building, right? And this, I don't even remember who it was. Yeah, he was the husband of one of my professors. Nice guy. And he told me not to become a slave to my materials. And at the time I didn't understand what he meant. But looking back, he was totally right. I was working, I was doing these very, very highly detailed, realistic, miniature still life paintings in egg tempera. I don't know where to put that. I'll put that over there. And egg tempera is a pretty rigorous medium. If you're gonna, I mean, you can use it loosely if you're gonna do abstract painting, maybe, but it's a difficult medium to just play with. And he could see that I was kind of in the thrall of the medium, you know, like there's a little ego there too, you know, if you can make something look perfect, right? When you're young and you're drawing or whatever you're doing, oh, that looks like a photograph, right? That's the goal. By the time I was in grad school, that wasn't the goal, but still. But you know, like when the people around you are artists, you don't have to, you can just do whatever the medium tells you to do. But once you're out in the world, people don't understand abstract art. They don't understand it. They don't care, right? They don't understand that paint is exciting or just the fabric is exciting, right? Like, how many people think this is exciting? How many of us are there, right? Like, the vast majority of people would see just a mess. This is a really beautiful purple. I don't know how well the camera is picking this up, but this is a gorgeous purple, and I don't have any other purple. So, purple, right there. I spoke too soon. Here's another big piece. All right, another piece of purple. This one's not as pretty. So yeah, over the years, for reasons I will eventually get into, I'm sure, my love for fiber has just kind of slowly taken over. You can hear the dog crying to get in here. Because if the door's closed, we need to be on the other side of it. Come on. Come on. So this is June, who is worried because I'm sitting on the floor. I don't usually sit on the floor. Okay, I see you. Yes, thank you for taking care of me. You can go away now. Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, so I have two dogs. June is black and white, and Sadie is all white. They're Jack Russells, and they are used to me being a little bit fragile and easily hurt. And so when I'm on the floor, they know that there's, you know, they know in the past anyway that something is wrong. Today I am fine though. They don't differentiate. It's okay, June. And I'm talking to myself, which is very confusing, isn't it? Yes. Very confusing. Crazy. She's finally lost her marbles. Oh, look at this. I will insert a close-up of this fabric as I'm editing if I can figure out how to do that. But this fabric, I had a different colorway. Almost 25 years ago, I made my daughter her toddler bed quilt with. Is a blue. It was blue. The same. That's cool. That's really cool. I'll have to make something special out of that for her, because she'll recognize it, I'm sure. Where am I going to put that? I'm going to put that on my phone, which is hidden back there. Ah. Okay, I'm back. I did it all. Yeah, I'm not good at this recording thing yet, so I lost footage in the middle, and I was babbling, and the dogs were barking at some point, so some of it's just going to be muted out, but I'll get better at that. I'm very pleased with where I ended up here. I've got some yardage, like a couple piles of yardage. This is Christmas fabric, brown, all my little scraps for making hexagons. This is probably the biggest quantity, so that's a lot, which is good. This is all the blues, green, yellow and orange, purple, pink, red, and I've got a Target shopping bag with just the rejects, which aren't many, that I know that I can take to the reuse center, and somebody will like them. They're not bad quality, it's just not what I use. So yeah, that's not bad for an afternoon or two of work at 2. Yesterday I had to stop. But yeah, so as I go along, I'm sure I'll refer back to this, and you'll get to see what I do with all this stuff. So stick around, subscribe, thumbs up, like, yeah, all that stuff, that happy stuff. Thank you. Bye.